one tab deep. Simple premise. We click a random article and we settle on it. Let's see where Wikipedia sends us today. Give us something good. Ed Whalen, broadcaster. All right, let's introduce ourselves to Mr. Whalen. Born 1927, died December 4th, 2001. So he lived to be 70-ish, 74 years old. Canadian television personality and journalist, best known worldwide for hosting the popular professional wrestling TV series Stampede Wrestling. Whalen was also a popular sportscaster in Calgary, Alberta, whose nickname, Whalen Ed, was indicative of his famous nasal announcing voice. All right, Ed, let's take a look at Ed's picture. First and foremost, what I've noticed already in a couple of these videos, amazing mustaches on some of these gentlemen. He's also got the pipe. I mean, he looks like a man of class. He's actually got a little bit of a Ron Burgundy look to him. All right, let's take a look. Let's learn a little bit more about Ed. So, born in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, studied medicine at the University of Saskatchewan in 1948, where he dropped out to take a primetime job in radio broadcasting. Then in 1955, moved to Calgary and became the news and sports director for the new Calgary TV station. Very cool. So, Ed went to college for medicine. I'm always intrigued by the idea that, this is a guy who went to college for medicine, and by the end, as he gets into his career, he's a sports broadcaster for wrestling. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool. You never know where life's going to take you, and I'm sure Ed, when he went to college, didn't realize that later in his life he'd be a sports broadcaster, focusing on professional wrestling at that. So let's go to the wrestling. Stu Hart was introduced to Ed Whalen while he promoted shows in Saskatchewan. He taped to be the ring announcer on the shows there. Ed recalls one of his stints when he was just 21 and started in radio with his sign-off, "I'm 48 degrees and outside it's Ed Whalen." There's something about corny humor that just hits every time. And there's also, when we talk about wrestling, I'm a bit of a wrestling fan myself, and there's a level of corniness, especially back in the day, that really added to the charm of wrestling. So I can absolutely see where that's kind of funny. When Ed had the chance to apply for TV from radio, he jumped at that chance. Of course, why not? His friendship with Stu was not forgotten, as Stu, looking to air his program, contacted Ed. So previous connection helped him out later on. Whalen went to bat for Stu, and the first program aired in 1957. Henry Viney was the first host of the show, known as Wildcat Wrestling. In 1962, Ed took over as the host of the show, and it was renamed to its run as Stampede Wrestling. It was bestowed the official Stampede name in 1975, and he was the host from 1962 to 1983. Wow, 21 years. It was there he would quit on air, citing its violent and bloody matches and lack of family entertainment. Wow. So I would imagine from the time when he first started in the 60s to the 80s, all of a sudden dynamics change, the type of programming that they were creating changed, and by the end he said, "Hey, I'm out of here." Oh, well, but then he rejoined in 85 to 89, so he decided after a couple years, hey, maybe it's not as bloody as I thought. The show popularized several Whalen catchphrases, including "It's gonna be a ring-a-ding-dong dandy." It's gonna be a ring-a-ding-dong dandy. I challenge everybody watching this video to use that at one point today. And his trademark sign-off, "In the meantime and in between time." According to Ross Hart, Whalen, along with Helen Hart, were the only classy elements to the wrestling business, stating that Whalen and she added dignity to Stampede Wrestling. So it sounds like Whalen probably towed that line a little bit between the circus nature, especially of early wrestling, and his more traditional broadcasting style. But sounds like he did a pretty good job of balancing that out. So it looks like after that, he went into hockey. After his time with Stampede Wrestling, Whalen became beloved by Calgarians as the television voice of the Calgary Flames. All right. Now, as a sports fan myself, I like a lot of sports, but I've never been super big into NHL. But obviously, I understand the Calgary Flames are a successful organization, and I know how big hockey is in Canada. So I can imagine how his stardom even grew from wrestling into hockey as the voice of the Calgary Flames. And so he did that from 1980 until his retirement in 1999, and was famous for his introduction, "Hello, hockey fans." Wow, so there was what is that, like a 8-year period where he was doing double duty on wrestling and hockey. During Flames telecasts, Whalen was memorable in showing high and intense enthusiasm with phrases such as, "Put it out in front," or, "Oh, they jam away." When Flames captain Lanny McDonald scored his 500th goal in 1989, his final season and just prior to the team's Stanley Cup winning playoff run, on a wraparound effort, Whalen made the call, Otto battling for possession, gets it behind the net to McDonald, he scores! He did it! 500! That's my ode to Mr. Whalen. Whalen also wrote a weekly column in the Calgary Sun newspaper for many years, and even after his retirement, he continued to make occasional appearances on TV and still wrote his column. He was also a regular local host of the Children's Miracle Network. Man, what a cool guy. Fortunately, Whalen died of a heart attack while on vacation in Venice, Florida in 2001, so he'd only been retired for a few years. The broadcasting booth in Calgary's Scotiabank Saddle Dome, home of the Calgary Flames, was renamed the Ed Whalen Broadcast Booth in his honor. Very cool. A year after his death, his wife released a CD of musical recordings Whalen made, with the proceeds going to charity. What a really unique guy. I mean, starts off, thinking maybe he's going to be a doctor, going to school for medical, ends up being a professional wrestling announcer. Then he transitions into a successful hockey announcer. He retires. He's writing an article in the Calgary Sun and donating in time, it sounds like, to the Children's Miracle Network. Man, what a cool, unique dude. Mr. Whalen, we tip our hat to you, sir. Canadian Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 2016. Stampede Wrestling Hall of Fame, class of 95. Oh, man. Wrestling Observer newsletter. He got recognized as the worst television announcer in 1989. Well, and I think that was his last year. Yeah, so he said, "You know what, guys? Fuck you. I'm out of here." Like I said, we tip our hat to you, Mr. Whalen. Learned about a new legend. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you're interested in stuff like this and learning more with us, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.